Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio. We're coming to you here on this Wednesday, and we are very fortunate and lucky to have our great friend of the show, Dusty May, head coach of Florida Atlantic, to join us. How are you, Coach?
Doing great. How are you guys?
Great. We've got some snow up here. I'm sure it's a little different than it is in Boca Raton. I don't even know how much out there, but we got a lot of snow here in Bloomington.
I think it's 75 right now, so not to rub it in.
No, not at all. Not at all. As you head out to the beach this afternoon. Well, whatever it is, it's working for the Florida Atlantic Owls, man. You guys are rolling. You were on earlier before the season started, I think, and you had some great expectations. But even in, as a coach, I know coaches are always positive about their teams, but did you foresee this as this start? I mean, this is pretty damn good. You got this team ranked in the top 25. This is big time for this program.
Yeah, Jim, we knew we had a really good team coming back. We returned 7 of our 8 top producers from last year. And then we added Nick Boyd, who sat out last year as a medical redshirt, and he probably averaged 6 points a game as a freshman the prior year. And then we added Jalen Gaffney from University of Connecticut, who was a rotation player, backup guard, who we knew how capable he was. So essentially we returned 8 of our top 9, and then we had Jalen Gaffney, and then we added a couple good young players, one from junior college and a couple from high school, and Trey Carroll was sitting out. So we knew we had upgraded our talent level, and we had a really close-knit group of like-minded guys. So we knew we had our best team coming back, but you have to go on the court and perform at the right moments, and our guys have done that.
And early on, you guys played a tough schedule. Big win with the Florida. Didn't you beat Florida?
Correct. We beat Florida at the University of Florida.
Too bad Kevin Brockway's not on with us today. Our good friend, he comes on. He covers the Gators now. He'll be on with us later in the week. I wish he was on today, but that is a huge win within the state. I know, but just period nationally. That's an SEC program and a national champion program. What did that win do for you guys?
I think it just opened up some eyes around the state, especially in recruiting circles with coaches, and it put our guys, I guess, underneath a little bit bigger of a spotlight, and it I think caused them to have even a greater belief in what we could become if we continue to improve and play the right way and have a shared sacrifice. And that's probably the greatest attribute of our guys. They're very, very unselfish, and they're sharing the spotlight. They're sharing shots. It's a group that's really, really grown up and supported each other.
And coming up next at this juncture of the season, this is where teams really start to get even better. But you guys have been on a roll before. What are you looking for with your team as you're entering February, the heart of conference play now? You've kind of hit the midway point. Where are you? How are you feeling about them? What do you see next out of your squad?
Well, we're extremely excited because we don't feel like we've played anywhere near our best basketball. We have a much higher ceiling. We've got a lot of room for growth. And our guys seem undeterred with anything. I mean, they're working hard. They seem just as focused, if not more focused, than they were earlier in the year. So we like the direction we're going in. But like I said, we still have some of our better, most efficient scorers haven't produced at the same clip they have in the past. They haven't been as efficient. So we always talk about water finds its level. They're much better offensive players than their stats indicate right now. And so I do think we're going to find our offensive groove. But more than anything else, Jim, we just try to be consistent on both sides of the ball. We don't need to be great on either side, but we need to be really, really good on both. And then also with special teams and things like that. So that's what we're concerned with, just being really good on both sides of the ball. And as long as we defend and rebound, it should take the pressure off of us having to make shots.
Are you guys in the AAC now or Conference USA still? I know it's a switch over time.
Yeah, this is the last year of Conference USA, and we'll switch to the American Conference next year.
Are you looking forward to that? What about the differences in conferences are you looking forward to?
Well, when you take Houston out, especially Houston, Conference USA and the American are very comparable as far as the numbers and metrics are right now. And typically, Conference USA has done really well against the American. I think right now, maybe our league is 3-0 versus their league. So it is a step up, especially with media and television games and as far as growth. But as far as competition, our league is very strong now that we're leaving, and we'll be moving up just a little bit to a very good basketball conference.
And of course, that brings more opportunities as well for the program. But now that you have turned this program, I mean, you're taking it to heights that they've never been before. There has to be a lot of excitement for this down there on campus, in and around the school and all that. And that has to be a great feeling for you.
Yeah, Jim, anytime I guess any event in South Florida is a challenge to get people inside an arena, inside a football stadium. It's the same for the Heat, the Dolphins. Turn on a Heat game, and they have a very late arriving crowd, and they may not have a very good crowd at all in the regular season until the playoffs. So for us to be selling out consistently now is a testament to our players, our administration, our marketing department. They're capitalizing on what we've been able to do. And it's awesome to have such a basketball environment in this community because it's rare. And I lived in Los Angeles, and it was hard to get people to the UCLA, USC games, football, basketball, everything. So anytime you live in a place that has a lot of options and great weather and beaches and whatnot, it's hard to get people to watch sporting events in person. So we're very, very proud to be selling out our arena, and our student body's been incredible.
I would think that helps with recruiting, though, on the other end of the spectrum. That cannot hurt recruiting.
Yeah. Well, obviously the environment, players want to play in a great, energetic environment where they're appreciated for their efforts. But also just the visibility in our program. I hate to say it, but with recruiting, we used to call it cafeteria talk. I don't know if kids still go to the cafeteria now. They may just Uber lunch to wherever they are, but Uber Eats lunch or whatever the case. So the cafeteria talk, where your name, when a player in Orlando or Tallahassee, and they say they're being recruited by Florida Atlantic basketball, the students, they say great things. Hey, they're top 25, man. I watched them play. They're really good. So that chatter is really important in recruiting. And right now we have a great buzz. But we also know that it could be gone tomorrow if we don't continue to take care of business and improve.
As I look over the schedule, you guys lost only your second game of the season to an SEC foe, Ole Miss. And since then, it's been all W's, baby. It's all green, including that next win. How did you bounce back? You lose to Ole Miss, an SEC team. Then you've got another SEC team that you have to play right on the heels. And I assume that game was at Florida.
Both. They were actually, Jim, we scheduled it back-to-back road trips. So we played at Ole Miss, and then we stayed on the road. We bused to Birmingham, practiced there after the game, and then we bused to Atlanta to fly to Gainesville. So the glamorous travel of Florida Atlantic basketball. But it was great because we spent a lot of time together. It was in between. It was during a break in classes. And so after the Ole Miss game, we made a lot of mistakes and uncharacteristic mistakes. And credit Ole Miss, they played well, had a good game plan. But we felt like we really shot ourselves in the foot at times, had a late technical when we cut it to 5, touching the rim, just some things that were uncharacteristic. So, we all took I guess, look in the mirror and I guess reevaluated what was really important. And we got Michael Force back the next game, and Mike had 20 at Florida. So obviously him being out, he's a 1,400 point scorer, whatever he is here at FAU. Him being out at Ole Miss didn't help. But we learned a lot about ourselves. And to be honest, if we were able to win that Ole Miss game and then stay on the road, we probably wouldn't have had the same edge or determination at Florida. So, the things we go through, we grow, we get better. Just more proud of how we responded after the Florida game. That could have been a letdown, and we came back home against some really good mid-major competition and took care of business.
Well, and that's the thing, the response. First of all, you lose to a team that should win on paper, and then you have to do the traveling to another team that you should lose to on paper. And I'm wondering, and it kind of reminds me, you guys, what you're going through is like a AAA baseball team, not having all the entitlements that some of these bigger schools have. And I'm really wondering if this entitlements is affecting the game, because you see some of these teams, I'm like, what? Well, Indiana was for one that had just lost their edge for a minute, they just looked entitled. And I'm wondering, and the entitlement seems to really be permeating college sports right now because of the NIL thing. We saw the thing happen with the kid at Florida in football. You guys are able to escape that right now, and seem to have all players that still have that hunger and that fight, and are able to go out and win games like Florida, and then win every damn game after that as well. That's tough to do. Winning, especially when you've done nothing but win, it gets harder because people want to beat you more so, and to keep that focus.
Well, we're getting everyone's best shot. We're getting full arenas on the road. We're getting promotions, promotional T-shirts and game day activities for our game. So it's awesome that we've become the biggest game, or one of the biggest games on the opposition schedule. With that comes a responsibility to match the energy, effort, intensity. And as far as the distractions in college basketball now, the NIL, the transfer portal, all the things, the social media, all the pressures and stressors that these young men are going through, I think our secret is our guys love basketball. They love each other, and they enjoy the work. So, with that, I don't know if we'll become entitled. I don't know if we'll become, I guess, with our egos, we'll get to. I don't know. We're curious to see how this all transfers, and we're trying to get out ahead of it. But at the end of the day, when you have competitive guys that love the game and really love and support each other, when the lights come on, man, they only know one way. And that's what I think our guys, they only know one way. They don't know how to go through the motions. And if we lose, it's going to be because someone beats us. It's not going to be because our guys just go through the motions. I'm very confident in that.
And Dusty, who all were you able to coach under or learn under when you were a manager? I'm trying to remember. Did you have the crossover between Knight and Davis?
No, actually, I was a manager, Coach Knight's last 4 years, and then I left to go to Southern Cal when the events went down with Coach Knight, and then Coach Dave. I was at USC 2 years. Coach Davis made the run, and the group made the run to the championship game, and then he created a spot on staff the following year, and I came back to Bloomington for 3 years.
I asked that. I couldn't get it. I couldn't remember exactly until I got it pulled up. But the reason I asked that is I look at other coaches, Mike Krzyzewski for one. These guys and everybody that I have on the show that has played for Coach Knight, it cracks me up because they all are all the same. They are literally students of the game, and I mean that literally. And I tell people, I said, trust me, people, every one of these guys has 4 years worth of freaking notebooks that they still have. But seeing a guy like you, like Mike Krzyzewski, and that are able to take those teachings, what you learned and all those things, but do it with a different personality to reach today's player, because today's player is a 180 from the 120 years ago. It is remarkable, and I think it's obviously serving you well. How has it been to reach today's players when you learned at a time that was completely different?
Well, Jim, I coached AAU one summer, and I tried my best to be a miniature version of Coach Knight. And that wasn't much fun for our guys. And if any of them are listening, I'm sure that they'll nod and agree. I was a raging lunatic. I couldn't help it. I thought that's the way I was supposed to coach. But fortunately, I'm pretty self-aware and I'm hard on myself. So
how many tees did you get? Did you get teed up a bunch? Did you get any tees? Come on, tell me.
I don't think I got very many, but I deserved numerous. So, I kind of learned at a young age that wasn't who I wanted to be, or wasn't really who I was, and it wasn't much fun for them, nor was it fun for me. So, fortunately, I had that experience, and then I also it was eye-opening how difficult it was to organize a practice, draw up a play out of a timeout in a pressure situation. So I had a newfound respect for what head coaches do when I was young, because it looks a lot easier than it is as an assistant or as a player. So, that experience was invaluable. and then just working for Coach Bibby, working for the guys I worked with, just seeing how everyone did it differently. And even now we talk about it. It all works and it all doesn't work. You can show me any style of play, any system, and we can give you an example of it working at a high level. And then we can show you examples of it failing. And usually it's belief and everyone being on the same page and being connected.
The net rankings, of course, one of the biggest metric that used by the NCAA for the tournament. Did you ever dream again? And I'm sure that this is not something that you sat around and thought of, but the fact that Florida Atlantic right now is sitting at number 18 in the net rankings and Indiana is number 20. Just the sheer thought of that has to be, I mean, if you go in there, you get off this show, you shut the door and you look at that, there's no way you could not look at that and just go, wow. I mean, that's just got to be a cool moment.
Well, I mean, obviously being an Indiana grad and Indiana fan, I think they have a really good basketball team. So I haven't really noticed. I don't pay that much attention to that. I'll see it on Twitter or on social media if there's a graphic, and I may like it or retweet it, but I don't really pay any attention to that stuff. We do look at the offensive metrics and the defensive metrics, and just seeing when our staff took this program over, I guess, almost 4.5 years ago, I want to say we were in the high 290s or low 300s in Ken Pomeroy. And now we're up in the mid 30s ish. So just to see the exponential growth of our program, and it's a tribute to the staff, the players, and everyone just working together for a common goal, and it's cliche, but not caring about the credit, taking ego out of it. And it's been a blast.